This is Dan of Vagabond Awake.
𝗔 from 𝗕𝗵𝗲.
And we came to the Philippines. We're still here. We got here in February of 2002.
Yes.
And we want to tell you our favorite places to live in the Philippines. But first we're going to tell you where we were and say a little bit about each one. So we got here and we started out in Makati.
Yeah, we started in Metro Manila, Makati. And then after that we went to Tagaytay.
Yes. And then we went to 𝗙 City.
And then we went to Subic Bay and Oligao City.
Yes. And then we went to Baguio.
And then we went to La Union, San Juan's, and San Fernando.
And then we went to 𝗕vigán.
The town that I want to visit for a long, long time.
𝗕vigán?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a colonial era city.
Yes.
So we're going to tell you a little bit about each city, what we enjoyed, maybe pros and cons we noticed. And then we're going to tell you our personal ranking, and we'll compare and contrast so you have some different opinions. But we should also say, some of you may know that we also went to Palawan, and before we leave, we'll be going to another island for a few weeks. But we're sticking right now to the ones that we went to on the big island called Luzon.
Yes.
And so Chung mentioned 𝗕vigán. The colonial era city, beautiful place. It's one of the most, reminds us most of the colonial cities from the Spanish colonial era in Central and South America and Mexico.
Yes.
And so it was a little bit like visiting Mexico, wasn't it?
I would say it will be a little bit like, yes, like visiting Mexico. Yeah.
Just because of although the architecture is a little different, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say it's more like Latin America. If you went to their colonial town, it would be like that.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see the architecture. As you know, I love to see how this house to be built, you know, for a long, long times ago.
Yeah.
The architecture, the woods, and paintings. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, and like a lot of Central America, the South, it has the plaza in the center with the big cathedral on one side and the city hall on the other,
yes,
and a fountain in the middle, and it honors priests and other individuals that were, you know, important in the Philippines history, like you'll see in other colonial era cities. And there's a lot of antiques here, I noticed too.
Yes.
Like in the shops and gift shops and stuff. The downtown, some of the buildings are really maintained. Yeah. Some of them are not. They're, you know, in the process of being maintained. So it's a hit or miss. But in the main parts of it, a lot of them are maintained.
Yeah, and the coffee also is nice. We bought a coffee on the downtown in the vegan city, the Old Town area.
Yeah.
And the coffee is really nice.
Right now, we're just giving you a few pointers, but like Chung said, we're going to cover them all. What about Makati? What were your thinkings about Makati? What came?
It is very impressive because that, as usual, as everyone knows, that when you go on the TV or YouTube, most of the media, they are, they are posting the video of poor side about the Metro Manila.
Yeah.
So I don't know how is it look like. So when I arrived in Makati, I was like, wow. It's not like what those, you know, the media, you know, they show in the TV and everything. I'm great, I'm seeing myself, and it's so beautiful. And we did went to other part of Metro Manila, like the Old Town, like the Chinatown. The food is so amazing. And it have a lot of culture over there. And the church is 400 years old. And a lot of stuff, it's just, I never see online, you know, which is like that.
Yeah, and we also noticed that the food choices in Makati were really unmatched in the Philippines. There were just so many different kinds of not only Filipino food, but also foods from around the world.
Yes.
And also, there's some major mall developments in the Makati area.
Crazy.
Including BGC, which you've probably heard of. Just malls and neighborhoods that really, I don't know of anywhere else in the world that are that new and beautiful and nice. And so, you know, people have this idea of what Manila is. Manila is many things. And so when you come to Manila, come with an open mind. And,
because Metro Manila is one of the, you know, the town of the city.
Yeah.
Metro Manila is everything. So you can see the old town of the Manila, you can see the high-tech, the modern of the Manila,
Yeah.
like Metro Manila,
Yeah.
and you can see a lot of things,
Right,
which
right.
is it's very amazing. And we haven't finished it. They have, you know, they just recently have the biggest IKEA in the world. It's in Philippines.
IKEA furniture, which is it's some Scandinavian country. I don't remember which one, but
And
these huge buildings.
Yes.
Full of furniture.
Also, I went to the Mall of Asia. I was like, wow, that is really big.
Yeah.
It's just, and we haven't finished that mall yet. Still have a lot of things to see,
Yeah.
you know.
So we also went to Tagaytay, which
Yes.
seemed like maybe 2 hours south of Metro
About
Makati,
that,
or
1.5 hour,
Yeah.
like 2 hours. Like
And we
that.
took the bus down there, and it's on a rim up in the air, and it has a beautiful view of the lake. And of course, in the middle of the lake is a volcano, and it's very green, and
Yes.
it's at a higher altitude, so it's cooler than Metro Manila area. And it seemed kind of like maybe a 3-4 day weekend where people go and they
Yes.
party and have a good time.
Yes.
And enjoy the cooler weather and hiking in the country and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And
And try the bulalo.
yeah, which is bone marrow, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bone marrow meal that people talk about all over the Philippines.
Yeah, and you have to go to the local market to try it.
Yeah, and that was a very nice local market.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have a lot of local market, and they have a public market which is they sell a lot of good vegetable, which is that because they're in cooler areas, so
Yeah.
they have a better vegetable.
It's fresher.
It's fresher.
Yeah, it keeps longer too, it seems
Yes.
like. So, yeah, and so you're wondering, why is it only the positive? To the extent we're going to say some negative, when we rank our favorites, maybe we'll say some negative things about why one's ahead of another, that
Yes.
kind of thing. We also went to 𝗪cie City.
𝗪cie City, ooh. I just love the light that I just walk out from my door and then I sit on the bar and then enjoy the beer and people watching. Beer is cheap.
Yeah.
Girl is beautiful. Sometimes I watch some Koreans. They have some Korean over there. I mean, Korean guy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Korean girl over there yet. So.
So you may know that 𝗪cie is where one of the former U.S. Bases were, an Air Force base, Clark, I believe it's called.
Yes.
And it closed down after the big volcano back around '91 or something like that. And it used to be where servicemen would go to party,
Yes.
what they called the walking street. And so there's some fun people watching there if you want to check that out. The other thing I noticed about 𝗪cie is they have a really big, great market there.
Yes.
They have many different kinds of food. 𝗪cie City is known for food, and it's fairly inexpensive cost of living there, I noticed.
No, it's not expensive.
Yeah. And the people are very friendly. There's a nice mall there.
They have very nice mall. I bought my laptop over there, so
Yeah.
it means that they have a good mall that they're selling the laptop, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, the videos that we're making about all these places, you can click the link below this YouTube video, come to a webpage, and I'll embed all the videos there, and you can find out more about all these places. And so, not too far from 𝗪cie City, we went to this place called 𝗬𝗏𝗏.
Oh.
And 𝗬𝗏𝗏 was the naval base when the American servicemen were here.
And we stay in Oligao City, which
Yes.
is just next door. Because 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is just the harbor bay or the bay, you know?
Well, the whole thing's the bay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if people, even they stay, you know, behind the bay, and then and the name is called Oligao City, but they still call themselves the same 𝗬𝗏𝗏.
Yeah.
But
And we picked Oligao because
Yeah.
it's where the locals live, and the prices are a little more reasonable. You get a little more familiar with the Filipino daily life, what food actually costs, the malls,
And
a
you
lot
have-
of friendly people.
yes, you have your favorite restaurant over there,
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
also
really-
have my favorite restaurant over there, and also the people I can say they are very, very friendly, and that city
Yeah.
is very clean.
Yeah, it's very clean and
Very
organized.
clean, organized.
and everyone's friendly, they're smiling and waving, and chatting with each other.
Yes, yes.
Which is true of most of the Philippines, really. I mean, so.
It's true. And we also take a jeepney to go to another town.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
𝗪𝗲𝗡 Beach.
Yeah, 𝗪𝗲𝗡.
Was it maybe only 10 minutes by jeepney?
Yeah, and it's nice. You just enjoy some beach, and then you're just drinking a beer in the on the beach. I feel it's just relaxing.
Yeah, and so Subic Bay just had kind of a small town feel to it, friendly, and it just felt real comfortable and easy to live there. Where the base used to be is a lot of where the expats live, and it's more expensive in that area. And so we went there a couple times, went to eat a few times, went to some of the nightlife, but we enjoyed more of the local area.
Yeah, we enjoy more the local area.
Yeah.
So.
They even had a yacht harbor in the expat
Even
area.
have a casino over there.
Casino and a yacht harbor. And so a lot of range. You can spend a lot of money if you want to. We also went to Baguio.
Oh, Baguio. Woof. When the bus entering to that town, I like, wow, that is really beautiful. Beautiful mountain, colorful building.
Yeah.
You are going to like an oasis, what you call that, because the
Oasis.
Oasis.
Yeah.
And weather is cool. Oof. When we arrived there, and then we're like, we're going to stay here longer.
Yeah, we did. We stayed longer. It's a mile high in the sky.
Yes.
So the weather is much cooler, and it's on rolling hills, full of trees all around you. It's a well-maintained city, like with wider sidewalks, and they have medians and parts of the street where plants are growing, and they have an amazing mall that sits up on a mountain with an amazing view.
Amazing view.
And it's a bunch of universities there too.
Yes.
And on Sundays they close Session Road, and all of the college kids and artsy sort of people come out and they draw cartoons on the road where the cars are normally driving.
And also,
they have restaurants on Session Road, and they have arts and crafts, and so it had a very different feel to it, I think. They call it the creative city in the Philippines, and so I just really enjoyed that place. And one of the things that was really amazing for me, because I'm a vegetarian, is they had multiple completely vegetarian restaurants there for me to choose from. And the meals were cheap.
70 pesos.
70 pesos.
So we eat out every day.
Yeah, we couldn't get ourselves to cook at home because the food was so good, and it was probably cheaper than it would cost us to cook at home. We didn't have to do the dishes.
I have to mention the public market. The public market is huge. I even get lost.
Yeah.
And the vegetable is fresh and very, very cheap.
Yeah.
I can give you an example. Example is like lettuce. Lettuce in the other place of Philippines is like 120 to 150 per kg
for lettuce
in the public market.
Okay.
In the supermarket, it's 350. And then in Baguio, you guess, it's 40 peso for 1 kg.
Wow.
So they have a very good vegetable and stuff for you to cook.
Yeah.
But the restaurant is much more cheaper and healthy because they even provide is a brown rice.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I no need to cook.
And the reason that the vegetables are so fairly priced and so fresh is because Baguio is surrounded by farms as you head north up towards Sagata. And so you see all of this farmland being farmed, and that all those vegetables are right at your fingertips. Not to, Sagata also is, what an amazing trip that was. Wasn't it?
I don't want to talk about Sagata.
The roads are very
go.
Tough in Sagata.
Yes, the road is very tough. It's the same road to go to Kalinga.
Yeah, where the 104-year-old tattoo lady is.
105.
Oh my goodness, she's 105 now, huh?
Yes. And also in Baguio, they have night market every night from 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because they have this kind of the thing is they have a lot of universities, so they have students.
Yeah,
so
they have the students. They only have $1 for their meal or whatever.
Yeah, and they have like 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪, which is a second-hand shop everywhere.
Clothes, used clothes.
Huge selection.
Huge selection.
I don't know how to choose, and then but I pick one in the end.
Yeah. And they have like a central park kind of thing with a lake in the middle of it, and they have these little boats you can row around on. And in the mornings, I used to get up and run around this park. And I never had more than a t-shirt on the whole time I was there. Mm-hmm. It was cool but not cold, and wow, what a great city.
And because the place that we stay is in that city area, so
we walked everywhere.
We walk everywhere.
Yeah.
We walk everywhere, and also that we always go to my favorite bar.
Yeah.
Price is very reasonable and affordable. Meal is good. Food is good.
Yeah,
yes.
And the other great thing about Baguio is it's close to the next place we're going to talk about, which is called La Union, San Juan, where there's a beach, and San Fernando, where there's a cool city. And so you're only an hour and a half from the next two we're going to talk about.
So we are going to talk about La Union now because too much about Baguio.
Yes. So La Union. So we stayed in San Juan because we the first couple of days because we wanted to be on the beach. We hadn't been on the beach since we went to Palawan, which we're not talking about now because that's a different island. We'll talk about that later. But and so we'd heard that there were surfers there, and that there was like a nightlife on the beach, and that it was a really fun place to hang out, and there were a bunch of people from all over the Philippines and the world that would come there on vacations, and all of that was true. It really was a good time.
We have a good time on the San Juan because I stay in San Juan, and you arrive. The town is very hippie feeling because young crowd, surfer, and you go to the beach. $1 bill, cold beer on the beach. Yeah,
and you're eating the grilled off the grill there. What did it cost for?
It's slightly expensive.
Was it?
There. Yeah, it is compared with other places. It's slightly expensive.
So the grilled meats were a little more money.
It's about 35 pesos for each, but because in the San Juan, in Baguio and other cities, it's only like 5 pesos or 10 pesos, maximum 15 pesos.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a lot of difference.
And so that's the downside of San Juan. It's because it's such a tourist area.
Yeah, but they have a nice food. They have a lot of food court. And so I go to eat the food in the food court.
Yeah, when you had that big fish soup, remember?
This big, a lot of fish.
Yeah.
For like $4.
That's right, $4. Just a huge bowl of fish and vegetables.
It's very delicious.
And if she can't finish a meal, that's a big meal.
And also, they have a very nice, what you call foreign foods, Mexicans taco. Yeah. The price is more because Western food, but the food is really amazing. Right cook. Wow,
and so San Juan has a tourist area, which is the beach, but there's also the San Juan community where the locals live, and that's not as expensive. It's more typical of a small town in the Philippines.
It's a beautiful town.
And which is where we stayed after the first couple of days. And everything was there. It was pretty easy to live there.
They have a night market over there also, in San Fernando.
Oh, San Fernando, yeah.
Yes.
Next door to San Juan is San Fernando.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then San Fernando also have a big puppy market, and I like it. And we walk around. They have a beautiful tourist area for you go to see, and just beautiful. And we have a motorbike, so we go see around the houses in San Juan and San Fernando. Yeah. Whoa.
Beautiful neighborhoods. Some very nice neighborhoods there. Yeah.
The houses is very different. And they are different design, they are not like one design. They have different. Some is like they have like a U.S. design. They have a big garage, the door. Yeah. Very beautiful, very beautiful.
And San Fernando also has a beautiful mall. It has a park in the center with the cathedral there and the city hall and tree-lined streets. Very beautiful downtown area in San Fernando.
That's true.
It had a very nice overall feel to it. It's a very livable place.
Oh, very livable place.
Yeah. So that's all. We already talked about Vigan. So we've talked about all of the places on Luzon that we visited, haven't we?
Yes. So
now we have to rank them.
Yes.
So this video went over a little longer than we want. So in part 2, we'll do the ranking. Click the up here, right here, to go to part 2. It'll be over Chung's channel, and we'll do the ranking over there. Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.